All right, in this lecture, we're going to keep moving forward with learning about how to work with maps. Particularly, we're going to dive into how we can work with these different annotations that we have, for example, or I guess markers, what they're called. We did a little bit of customization here saying I like Aussie fries, but we're going to learn how to put something in a new location, how we can find the location of things, also how we can change our map so we can, for instance, show a satellite image rather than just sort of this cartoon version of things that we have here. So first, let's go and talk about how we can find a new location. So there's a couple of ways that you can do this. Really, Googling is just the best. We just need to find the latitude and longitude of a location. If we go back to our code here, right, so apparently Sydney's at -34 and +151. If we wanted to find it for some other location, we'd maybe open up a new tab and let's find like Mount Everest, and we'll just go ahead and search that. I'm sure we could find it in Google Maps. So let's see. Well, I thought it would have just automatically taken us there. Oh, look, here we go. Maybe this is the Google Maps link that we're looking for. Yeah, okay. So it's showing us Google or Mount Everest here on the map. And usually in the URL, you can just find the latitude and the longitude just right there, ready to go. You can just go ahead and copy that. Also, if you right click on an annotation in Google Map, you can say what's here, and it's going to provide you some more information about the specific latitude and longitude. So feel free to pick whatever location it is that you want. I think just Mount Everest would kind of be a cool one to have inside of our map here. So I'm going to go ahead back to the URL, and I'm going to copy the latitude and the longitude there. At least I'm hoping to. There we go, copy. And once we take that, I'm going to go back to our code, and we'll now call this Everest, and we'll paste in this number, and we're going to have to cut that second number, and we'll replace 151 with that. Okay, so this should now be pointing towards Everest, and of course we don't want to say I like Aussie fries for Mount Everest. We'll change this to say biggest in the world. That'd be kind of fun. I mean, we could just say Everest, but I think it's kind of cool to do a little bit of a different tag there. Now, you can see because we made this new lat_lang object, which is the latitude and the longitude, right? We need to update Everest here to replace Sydney, and also here for the move camera, which is going to, zoom into a particular location. We need to update that. So let's go ahead and run this on our device. Okay. And we'll wait for this guy to pop up. Okay, here we go. And look at that. Now we're showing Mount Everest here. And if we click on this, biggest in the world, it's showing that. Isn't that cool? So a way to do a little bit more customization with this is we can actually change what this marker looks like. So here, after we've gone and we've set the title, we can still do more on this. So not the very last ending parentheses, but the one just before that, we're going to say dot title, or excuse me, not title. This is where we want to say dot default, or excuse me, dot icon is what we're looking for. Okay, so we're going to do dot icon. And now this is looking for a bitmap descriptor. So we are going to do a bitmap descriptor. My goodness, bitmap descriptor factory. There we go. And then we're going to say dot default marker. And with this default marker, we're going to pass in a number to this, but rather than do just a straight up number, we're going to do capital bitmap factory description factory dot. And on this, you can see there's all sorts of different colors here. So you can pick which color you'd like. I think it'd be kind of cool to maybe see, let's do like a yellow one, for instance. So this should now be putting a yellow marker into our app. So let's go ahead and run that. Okay, we'll get our app all ready to go here. And when it opens up, oh, look at that. All of a sudden, it's a yellow marker instead of a red one. So you can kind of, change and personalize that. And you can even with this, rather than just doing the default marker, you can actually add an actual bitmap image if you want to with this bitmap descriptor factory, but we won't dive into that for right now. That's if you want to do something custom. For example, Uber, when they have like the little cars showing on the screen, I imagine they're using their own custom icon there. Okay. Next thing I want to do is, for example, we have Mount Everest here, but it's like super zoomed out, right? Like we can see, oh, okay, it's like between Nepal and China, but we could barely read Nepal. Like it'd be nice to actually be zoomed in so we could see a little bit more of the mountain. So in order to do that, here on this move camera, instead of doing this camera update factory dot new lat longitude, we're going to delete that and say camera update factory dot, and instead we're going to pick new lat longitude zoom, just like this. So we still have to provide a latitude and longitude, which we'll provide as Everest, but then also we get to provide a number here. So for example, let's go ahead and throw in 15, and we'll run our app here. You can choose a zoom between 1 and 20. 1 is the most zoomed out, 20 is the most zoomed in, so 15 is pretty zoomed in here. And we'll see our app open up, and maybe this is just way too zoomed because I can't even see anything going on here. So maybe we'll zoom out a bit and you can start to see where we are. So it's like, okay, maybe 15 is too much. Let's see what 1 looks like. We'll go ahead and run that. Really, it's just kind of playing around with this until you find what you think is the right zoom level for your app. So let's go ahead and see. Oh, this is what we had before. It was way too zoomed out. So maybe the nice middle ground is somewhere like 10 or something like that. Like that'll get us to a good position. Now, the last thing that I want to cover here is how you can actually, rather than just show sort of this cartoony version of the world, you can show satellite imagery. So amazing that Google allows us to access this stuff with like 1 or 2 lines of code. That it really just blows me away. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this mmap, and with this, we're going to say dot set. And I want you to notice here for a second, when we say set, there is a lot of things that we can do with this map. It's pretty cool, all the customization you can do. But for right now, we're going to say set map type. And the type that we're looking for, we're going to go ahead and type capital Google map dot. And there's all sorts of options here. So satellite would be straight up satellite. I think normal is the one that shows kind of like the cartoony version. Terrain, I think, is what we saw when we actually searched for the mountain in the web. And a hybrid is sort of like a combination. So I believe it's a combination of satellite and the cartoony stuff. I don't think we get the terrain thing, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and do hybrid and see what our app looks like now. Okay. So we'll go ahead and run that. And here comes the app. And look at that. We get this awesome image of Mount Everest there. We've got some good names going. So, man, so cool how this works. I'm just interested. I want to see, what, for example, the terrain looks like. That might be a really cool, look for Everest particularly. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. It's always fun in programming to kind of explore and just do different random things. And yeah, look at that. That was more of what we saw when we were looking there on the web. And oh my goodness, that is really cool. Okay, so that is the basics of map. A little bit more advanced stuff now. We're going to take a quick pause from maps to go learn how to get the user's location. We'll be back to work with Google Maps soon enough. But first, we got to figure out how we can figure out where a user is.